keep it 100 because it's time for Hub's Huddle Podcast. Listen to the man that talks sports from football to basketball 24/7, 365. He is known as the average Joe that knows more than average about sports.
What's up, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Hub.
What's up, everybody? It is Thursday, April 23rd, 2020. And yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, it is draft day. Happy draft day to you all. The official start of the National Football League season. We all know, when free agency opens up, it's basically like the start of the season. But this is, this is when everybody gets real excited. A lot of guys coming out of college entering to the draft is it's a very exciting time, man. I'm happy for these kids that's going to get drafted, and I wish them all the best of luck. It's a privilege to be drafted into the NFL, and it's a life changing experience for a lot of these kids. A lot of these kids come from different backgrounds and things like that. But today we're going to talk a little bit, man. We got the draft coming up today, man. We had a big trade a couple days ago. I'm quite sure everybody know. New England Patriots traded Rob Gronkowski. Of course, he's coming out of retirement now to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so he will join Tom Brady down there in Tampa. It's been a lot of talk, man. A lot of a lot of things have been said about this, and was it something against Bill Belichick, or these two guys, they left the net, they left New England. My opinion personally, man, Gronk even said it himself. He said he would come back if the time was right, and it didn't matter if Tom Brady was in Tampa or in New England. So it was the perfect time for him to come back. He had a year off to get rest. I mean, who knows what he's going to be like this season when he gets on the field. So apparently he's starting to put on more weight, to get back into game shape. As far as, the whole New England thing, I feel like, it was a good move for them. And everybody know I'm a Patriots fan, but like I said, I like to keep it real. This was a good move. I mean, they basically flipped a 7th rounder for a 4th rounder and gave up, Rob Gronkowski, which, people in this fan base were basically, upset, talking about, oh, we didn't, we could have got more for Rob Gronkowski. You got to think about it like this. Gronk ain't played in the whole year. What was his actual value? They got what they could get for him. I mean, I know 2 years ago they tried to trade him to Detroit, and it was going to be for a 1st round and a 2nd round. That's because he was coming off of basically like a monster season, I believe. But it's different, man. It's like, I mean, come on now. Like, we don't know what he's going to be. We don't know, if he comes back and ball out and be the Gronk of old, then, oh, man, that's a heck of a pickup for Tampa Bay. But as far as New England go, I mean, they didn't really have much cap space. Even if he wanted to come back and then get on a roster, it'll put them in, in cap hell. Excuse my language. But, I mean, that's just the bottom line. I mean, he had 1 year, $10 million left on his contract. So they shipped that off to, Tampa Bay. And today they ended up picking up, a wide receiver today, which is a good pickup for them. They got Marquise Lee from Jacksonville, and he had some injury issues. But when he's healthy, if he's able to be healthy this year for them, man, that is a huge steal. It's a very nice pickup for them. Low risk, high reward. So, it's a 1 year deal. Now we're leading into the draft, and let's see what's going to happen with all 32 teams. This is interesting because Detroit shopping. It seems like they're shopping that third pick, so they're hearing offer, so we never know what's going to happen. We're with Tua land. We know Miami tried to move up to number 1, but the Bengals basically no, it ain't happening. The Jaguars and the Raiders are in trade talks for Yannick. I mean, so we don't know what's going to go on. Washington Redskins are in trade talks for Trent Williams. They have been talking to a few teams. So, I mean, it's a lot that's going to go down tonight that, we could see a lot of trades. Of course, we're going to see the shuffling of picks between, tonight and Saturday, which is, all three days of the draft. It's always some type of trade on on each of these draft days where we see, picks being moved around, certain teams moving out of a round to acquire more picks later on in the draft or acquiring, like future picks. So I'm looking forward to tonight. I want to see how it's going to be set up. I know they have been sending, equipment to each of the kids' homes, I guess to set up so they can conduct interviews and things once they get drafted and everything. I'm looking at that. I want to see how that's going to play out. And also, I hope the connection and, and all that stuff is very well. We don't want that to be like a Babyface and Teddy Riley type situation. But, we hope this is going to be, something. This is something that's, well, from what I know, haven't been done before. This is different, but and it's going to be a different look for everybody watching tonight because we're so used to seeing this, in one place with all the players under one roof, all the with the teams calling in the picks to the commissioner, and the commissioner's going to be at his own home in his basement, announcing the picks. So it's going to be a lot of different feel tonight, and I'm excited for it. I'm actually excited to see this. So I'm looking at most likely Burrow from LSU is going to go number 1 overall to Cincinnati. So it's just figuring out like how everything else is going to play out. They got a lot of mock drafts going on around. It's man, I'm very excited for this to see, this draft tonight. I've been looking forward to it. We got Washington possibly will take Chase Young at number 2. We got the Lions taking Okuda. I hope I said his name right. He's he is a cornerback out of Ohio State. Next you got the New York Giants, man. Then Miami's picking at 5. People had them taking Tua at first, and then it went from that to basically them taking Justin Herbert now. So, we don't know what's going to happen. We got, Tua possibly sliding down to like the Chargers, or maybe it could be a surprise team that come in and get that number 3 pick from, the Lions and probably take Tua there, or take, Herbert at that spot and block Miami from getting getting a quarterback. But just the picks in order, man. You got the Bengals at number 1. You got the Redskins at 2, Lions at 3, the Giants at 4, Dolphins at 5, the Chargers at 6, the Panthers at 7, 8 is the Cardinals. And look for them to take possibly an offensive tackle. They're going to need to start protecting Kyler Murray out there. Number 9 is going to be the Falcons. They possibly will go defense with the number 9 pick. The Browns, another team that needs a tackle, so they're picking at 10. Another team that needs a tackle is the Jets at 11. The Raiders, of course, they going to be looking wide receiver. It just seems like all the time with Oakland at 12. The same thing for 49ers at 13. They need to fill the void left by Emmanuel Sanders. You got the Buccaneers at 14. Now if they take a wide receiver, that might be, I don't know. You might see like somebody like a Jerry Jeudy sliding at that point from Alabama. Who knows, man? But they're picking at 14. I'm trying to figure out what's the other need for them. I know they do need offensive line help, so who knows? Picking number at 15 is the Broncos. The Jaguars at 16. They may go defense here with they possibly would trade Yannick over to the Raiders, but who knows? The deal hasn't been they're still in talks, so we don't know what's going to happen with that. 17 is the Cowboys. Look for them to take a corner because they just Byron Jones left the Cowboys in free agency. They got Miami picking again at 18. And this is where they probably will go offensive tackle. They were rumors that they were in talks with the Patriots of acquiring Joe Tunney. So who knows what's going to happen. Then Raiders again at number 19. The Jaguars here at 20. So they probably go defense here again. They got opportunities to go defense at both of their picks in this first round, which they are to fill the void. And if we see them go at like an edge rusher, defensive line help, within these two picks, that means that Yannick will be on the move. So look out for that as well. Philadelphia is picking at 21. I can see them grabbing a linebacker, to be honest with you guys, to help out on that defensive front. And I know it was talks about Alshon Jeffrey possibly being traded. So who knows? Maybe it happens tonight. Maybe it happens, after the draft. You got Minnesota picking at 22. Doing New England at 23. That's a lot of needs for New England. I think tight end, it's just a huge need unless they can, we know that Tampa has O.J. Howard out on the trading block. Maybe they make a deal for O.J. Howard, or maybe they go ahead and take a tight end in the draft. One tight end I absolutely like. I know everybody in the New England fan base wants Thad Moss, son of Randy Moss, but to be honest with you, I like the kid out of Notre Dame and Cole Kmet. That dude is a beast, man. Picking at 24 is the New Orleans Saints. They probably go wide receiver. I don't know why. It just seems like they just picking up pieces, and they do got Emmanuel Sanders out there, but just yeah, and they might go wide receiver. Who knows, man? And probably look for somebody with some speed or something. The help out with that offense. That offense is explosive with Drew Brees throwing. Then you got 25. You have Minnesota here again. They probably go defense there as well. Miami picking again at 26. Miami got they got 3 picks in the first round. I don't know if they're going to keep all 3 of them picks or they're going to package and trade out. Seattle's picking at 27. They probably go defense there. The Ravens on the board at 28. And then you got the Titans at 29. They probably go like a tackle or something, to help shore up that offensive line. We got the Green Bay Packers picking at 30. That's probably going to be a receiver in that area to see what's left on the board there. At 31 is going to be the 49ers. They probably go deep defensive help there. And 32, last but not least, the defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, most likely they probably will go defense because I don't really see them needing help on the offensive side. So that's pretty much it, man. For the first round was kicking off tonight, man. But I'm looking forward to this, man. I'm really NFL draft. I'm one of them guys that watch all 3 days, and I watch them straight out. Like I will be sitting here tonight, and then tomorrow night, and then Saturday from noon until I think 7. Pretty much ain't nothing else to do. We're on the like the shutdown like the rest of the country. So hey man, just sit down, enjoy some draft. And I know it's a lot of people who don't really follow college football. These 3 days here is a good time to start knowing who these guys are, because like I said, we ain't got nothing else to do. But it's just the best time of year for me. I love the NFL draft. I watch all 3 rounds straight out, all 3 days. Well, not all 3 rounds, but all seven rounds. I watch all 3 days straight out. But I'm looking forward to tonight. I will be talking about these picks. I might be posting on Instagram and Twitter what my thoughts are, who's getting what. But to shift a little bit of gears, man, I don't know if you guys caught the Chicago Bulls documentary, The Last Dance, that basically it's about the final season that was the 97-98 season, man. That right there, man, was very, very it taught me a lot of things. Like, I really didn't know Jerry Krause was behind the whole thing of, basically like they all came together to win in spite of that man, in my opinion. It's no way that you sit up here and you tell Phil Jackson, a 5-time NBA champion coach, that you don't care if he goes 82-0, that this is his final year. That's some crazy ego-driven power drive type thing. And of course, Michael Jordan, basically, if it ain't Phil Jackson, he's not going to play anymore. It was very interesting, man. The first 2 episodes, man, were cool. We got into Mike, going from North Carolina to, Chicago, and in the early years of those Bulls, and, the stuff that went on, and, behind the scenes, like the little parties with the drugs and the women and the money, and he didn't want any part of it, and then, basically just like, a lot of those classic highlights, and the highlights was very crisp. Like whoever was shooting this stuff, like whoever got this footage and, brought it to life to be, modernized within our times, which is like here in 2020, took in, like clips from like 86, you know what I'm saying? Like, playing against the Celtics and torching them and having Bird calling him Jesus and sneakers. And then, just throwing everything from like the Olympics and all that kind of stuff, showing everything, at a team they went to like forgot where they went. They went like overseas somewhere to go play like in like preseason, like in a tournament, ended up winning like the tournament. And episode 2, I believe there might have been episode 2. They all running together, but in the second episode we got into Scotty and that situation with the contract and all that, which was crazy. He only made $2 million, man. That's wow. Jordan had $33 million. Scotty Pippen had $2 million, man. That is the most budget, best number 2 Robin to a Batman ever. $2 million for Scottie Pippen, man. That's crazy. But I know he made up for when he went to Portland and also Houston, man. So, but the time in Chicago, he should have been getting paid a heck of a lot more than what he was. A lot of them guys should have been paid a heck of a lot more than what they were. But it's just crazy. Like I said, like that, it broke off with Jerry Krause, and knowing that basically he's like the villain of the whole thing, and, like they won in spite of him, and, players was throwing jabs at him when he was there. Like Mike really didn't care. He was just ruthless with his, basically just talking about the man when he was there. It didn't really matter, man, but he does deserve credit for, the championship run, because he put the team together, you know what I'm saying? But I just think, like, if he'd have kept that team together, I know he probably wanted to go younger, but if he'd have kept the team together, they could at least got one more chip out of that crew there. But the Pippen and them, in those contracts was crazy. And of course, back in the day, you had no load management. So I guess, when we look at players today, it's like, you got no really excuse if you're, you got these guys, man, they're flying coach, man. You got these guys today, they're flying like private jets and planes and all that stuff to get to different, arenas and everything to play. Plus, like technology is so much better now, and, they got more access to different things to work out, things like that. I don't really understand the load management, but it is what it is. And, hey, it's just crazy, man. And we should all know, Jordan was strictly ruthless. So I'm looking forward to these next couple of, episodes. They got 2 more coming up on Sunday, which is perfect because we got the draft tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday. And then we have, episode 3 and 4 on Sunday. This we're gonna get into Dennis Rodman and also in Phil Jackson with these. So I'm looking forward to this, man. I'm looking forward to watching this thing, and and it brings out a lot because people are watching this, especially for like the younger generation. I mean, like nobody. My opinion, man, I really don't like the debate with the LeBron and Jordan. Like, my opinion, Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player ever play. LeBron James is the best player that's playing currently today in this era right here of the National Basketball Association. And I can't really compare the two because, like, I always go back to saying, I tell people, like, certain things that Mike had, LeBron didn't have. Like, Mike had that killer instinct, and it was like, Mike want to put it into you on the floor. We don't see that out of LeBron, and we only seen that once. That was Game 6 in Boston a few years ago. I remember that. I had my tonsils taken out. I couldn't really, get into it because I'm sitting there just delirious. But, that one night in Boston in that Game 6, that determined that whole series of who was going to win between Miami and Boston, because LeBron came in and he took over. He had this look on his face like, somebody just really just like pissed him off, and it was crazy. Other than that, like I said, man, people say, well, you put LeBron in that era, and at his size, you think he would dominate. You gotta look at it like this. If you put LeBron probably wouldn't be that size if he played in that era, and if he was, wouldn't you think that the other players in that era would be bulking up to get to that size or to help, to get them in position to like guard him or and everything else. Like, plus, that era was real rough, man. Like, they had actual fights. These dudes was fighting. It wasn't like, how it is today. Dudes be getting to each other's faces and just be like pushing each other, and then everybody gets in the middle. These dudes was hitting each other. Like, you got Kevin McHale clotheslining Kurt Rambis, coming up for a layup. You got Larry Bird getting held down by Barkley and Moses, and Doc throwing a clean 2-piece. Like, you had cats. Even when you move into the 90s, we had cats like Xavier McDaniel. Like dudes didn't really play around, man. Charles Oakley. That's what I'm talking about when we look at the different eras. That's why I hate comparing it, because it was a different time, different thing. And then when people say put LeBron in that era, I'm like, okay, so you put LeBron in that era and you say he would dominate. If you put Jordan in this era with all this technology, the working out, everything else, you put him in this era, don't you think that he really would dominate this in this era as well? That's the kind of things we got to think about. But as I always kind of leave it at, Jordan's the GOAT. And LeBron is the best in this era. If we want to go ring count, people like to do ring count, then you put Bill Russell there. You got 11. And one of them things was as a player coach. So, I mean, you ain't, on that level. But then when you mention Bill Russell, well, he played back in the day. It was just him, and he was the biggest guy on the court. So be it. He got 11 chips. But, like I said, in my opinion, man, Michael Jordan's the GOAT. LeBron's the best in this era right here. But so that brings us to the end, man. So that's it for me today, guys. I will be back to talk more about the draft. Possibly tomorrow, either tomorrow or Saturday. I mean, we're gonna be rocking. I might do a little bit of live and just talk while the draft is on, just to keep everything moving, and we'll discuss any moves was made, or of course when moves made, but we'll discuss what moves was made and what's the impact, and we'll also wrap it up at the end with the other draft with who I thought had the best draft of 2020. So until then, man, y'all be safe, man. Stay indoors, go outside, enjoy yourself. There's a lot of sunshine. Go get that up, man. Just make sure y'all maintaining y'all social distancing. You can go outside, but just don't be acting all crazy. If you're new to the podcast, man, welcome to the show. Like I said, like I always say, man, I try to give something for the people, man. I do this for the people. And I give y'all, my point of view of how I see things and everything. So like I said, welcome to the show. If you're old to the show, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, hey, we still rocking. Share this podcast with a friend, fellow sports fan, relative, whoever, man. Just put it out there, man. And y'all just be safe, man, especially with the conditions of today, what's going on in the world, man. Just be safe, hey, man, look, until next time, it's your boy Hub, and enjoy this this NFL draft, sorry. And we're going to be talking about this later on, y'all. It's your boy Hub, and I'm out. Peace.